Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular open meeting of Osoyoos Town Council, December the 7th, Monday at 2 p.m. in Council Chambers. So first off, we need a resolution to exclude the public that in accordance with Ministerial Order M192, the Town of Osoyoos regular open council meeting continues to be closed to the public due to the inability to meet physical distancing recommendations made under the Public Health Act in council chambers located at 8707 Main Street, and that to ensure openness, transparency, accessibility, and accountability, the Town of Osoyoos regular open council meetings will continue to be recorded, live streamed, and published on the town's website, and that the regular open meetings will be streamed on Eastlink's community channel. Could I have a motion? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you. Next is the adoption of some minutes, the Committee of the Whole minutes from November the 16th, the regular open minutes from November the 16th, and the special open minutes from November the 25th. Could we have a motion, please, to adopt those? Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you. No business arising from prior minutes and no delegations. So introduction of late items. We do have the one item, and that was from our Assistant Fire Chief, our Deputy Fire Chief. Okay. A report on some SCADA. No.
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA. Okay, so we will add that on to the meeting, and then we need a motion, please, that the regular open agenda be approved as amended. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you. No correspondence. Bylaws, the Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So before Council's Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw 1369-2020, and this is for Council to renew their line of credit with the Bank of Montreal for 2021. Section 177 of the Community Charter allows the municipality by bylaw to establish a bylaw to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of revenue. This bylaw authorizes the municipality to borrow up to $1.5 million to meet current expenditures and pay amounts to meet the municipality's taxing obligations. This line of credit is set up with the Bank of Montreal. If this operating line of credit is used, the revenue from the property taxes must be used to repay the borrowed money. In 2020, the Town of Osoyoos did not go into their line of credit and hasn't in any of the years I've been here. This bylaw is also required to have access to the corporate's MasterCard, though. So implications for community: allows for the operations to continue until funding comes in for taxation. Organizational, no impacts. Budget, no impacts. Significant dates: new bylaw needs to be adopted in 2020 for the 2021 year. Sustainability is fiscal management. Options before council: to give first three readings to Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw 1369-2020. Option 2, to defer the adoption of this bylaw. And recommendation before council's option number 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move option 1 to give first 3 readings.
Thank you. Councillor Rhodes is seconding that. Are there any concerns or questions? No, we've never used it as far as I know. No, thank you very much. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zackel. And next is the development variance permit. Ms. McKay. I have a hard time breathing with these things on.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Hello, everybody. So this report today is in consideration of development variance permit number 20-06. You will recall that at your previous meeting, you authorized issuance of the notification process for this particular property. So the purpose of this report is to provide information to council regarding application received at the development permit or at the planning department. The variance if approved, will allow for the reduction in the front lot line setback from 6 meters to 4.5 meters. Overview. The zoning bylaw, section 8.2.2.1, states that the minimum front lot line setback shall be 6 meters. The property owner is requesting a variance to this section in order to allow for the construction of an attached garage, which would encroach into the required setback. So the first plan on page 2 of my report shows an existing carport which would be removed if the variance were approved. And then on the next page of my report, page 3 of my report, it shows where the proposed new garage would be located and also a parking pad and of course the proposed driveway. So, implications to this, well, actually, I'll just let you know first. We received no written submissions or no phone calls with respect to this application, and notices were mailed and hand-delivered to all properties within 60 meters of 8311 Kingfisher on November 17th. Ms. Hilson, can you confirm nothing received at your office? Thanks very much. So staff supports the requested variance, as the allowable setback will be as it is in the R2 or the single-family residential small lot zone. Implications are as follows with respect to the community. In accordance with council policy on considering development variance permits, council has provided an opportunity for members to submit written comments. Organizationally, additional task would of course be to include monitoring the building permit application process to ensure compliance with the development variance permit and also that the variance permit does not lapse. There's no impacts to the town's budget with respect to this variance application. And then again, following issuance of the permit, the applicant would have 2 years to substantially commence the project. With respect to sustainability, construction of addition to the existing home and form of garage will not result in any adverse impacts to the natural environment. And our riparian area assessment was previously completed on this property. So the options before council today are 1, that council authorizes issuance of DVP 20-06, or 2, that council denies issuance of said variance, and staff are recommending option number 1. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor King?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can you tell me the square feet of this new garage he's proposing? It seems like a pretty monstrous garage.
To be honest with you, I can't.
I can't read the numbers.
No, I can't read it either.
I mean, that's the rationale for the setback.
Well, it's to encroach into it. The
Yeah,
size of the
that's-
garage
yeah,
is.
yeah. But if he built a smaller garage, he wouldn't encroach into it.
Well, he couldn't. Well, that is true.
That is true.
That is true. It's about 400 square feet. It's 20 by 20. It's not that big.
Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'll move the staff recommended option number 1.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Bennett?
50 by
Any
50.
questions or concerns about this? I'm happy to see that there was no concerns from the neighbors. So
Yes.
that's what I was looking for. Okay, all in favor of option 1? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Ms. McKay.
Thank you.
And now we're going on, you better stay there, because you are talking about the regional district referrals process.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor McCordoff. So the purpose of this report is to obtain input from council on a referral received from the regional district of the Okanagan Similkameen, the RDOS. So the report will provide only a brief overview of the issues and items that are deemed to be the most relevant to the town of Cius. There is additional information with respect to the referral packages for the RDOS Area A OCP bylaw, and also the ALR exclusion policy, which I'll speak briefly to, and then the environmentally sensitive development permit area designations and policies and possible changes to that section as well in their new OCP. So in October of 2019, the regional district initiated a review and update of their Area A OCP bylaw, which is Cius Rural. The review was conducted in accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Act, which specifies the purpose, required content, and adoption procedures of an OCP bylaw. The current Area A OCP was originally adopted in 2004 and subsequently repealed and replaced in 2008 as part of a larger review of the RDOS land use bylaws. And again, that process did not result in any substantive changes to the OCP. The draft electoral area OCP bylaw 2905 contains objectives, policies, and land use designations, which will provide direction for land use and development consistent with community values and are intended to balance the demands placed on the land base in order to ensure an equitable, comprehensive, and logical distribution of land uses. So, the ALR exclusion policy. This will also apply to us, just so you know. As part of the new Electoral A OCP bylaw, the Regional District is proposing a set of amendments to address recent changes affecting how the Agricultural Land Reserve exclusion applications are made. As of September 30th, 2020, private landowners are no longer able to make an application for ALR exclusion. As a result of amendments prior made to the ALC, in an effort to protect the size, integrity, and continuity of the land base of the ALR, henceforward, only a local government or First Nations or prescribed bodies such as BC Hydro, Regional Health Board, educational body, etc., may submit an exclusion application to the Agricultural Land Commission. Previously, a landowner would make an application to the ALC to exclude their land, and this application would then be referred to the Regional District for determination on whether it should proceed to the ALC or not. The costs of the application, required advertising, were borne by the private landowner, and the private landowner was advocating for the exclusion. So given now that it's now the Regional District that would apply for the ALC exclusions within its jurisdiction, the Regional District is proposing to include new policies in their Electoral Area A OCP, well actually all of their OCPs, that provide specific direction to on how the Regional District wishes to address ALR exclusions moving forward. So just so you know, the new Town of Masu's OCP will also include new policies which provide direction on ALR exclusion proposals. The town's current land use procedures bylaw does not speak to applications relevant to changes to the use on ALR lands or to ALR exclusion applications. It has been the practice of this department to refer all the ALC application processing guidelines on these types of applications. So in other words, we would just refer back to the ALC processing guidelines. So that in that way, that allowed us to implement the current fees that were identified through the ALC portal without actually having to update our land use procedures bylaw or our fee schedules. So at the time at which the town does update our land use procedures bylaw, consideration may be given to including specifics regarding ALR applications. But until that time, the department's going to continue to refer to ALC policies. And again, this item's only been identified for information at this time, just in case anybody saw that on the RDOS portal and was wondering what that was all about. So with respect to the environmentally sensitive development permit area designations and policies, the Regional District is proposing a separate suite of changes to the environmentally sensitive development permit areas designations in the electoral areas A, C, D, E, F, H, and I OCP bylaws. This is principally to change the scope of ESDPs and have them apply only to subdivision and rezoning applications and to no longer apply to building permit application or land disturbances. Should these regional amendments be initiated by the RDOS board, it's envisioned that these will take the form of an amendment to this new electoral area A, bylaw 2905 being their new OCP. So the impetus for consideration of this change to the scope of the EDSP policies with respect again to Area A arose during public consultation. Specifically, residents and property owners in the Anarchist Mountain area felt that the ESDP policies were counter-purpose to their desire to ensure that fire-smart processes were followed. This related specifically to the clearing of trees and brush adjacent to private homes and outbuildings. Area A Director brought forward a motion to the Regional Board, which resulted in the consideration of proposed changes to application of the ESDP policies. So just so you know, the new Town of Seuss OCP will continue to require a development permit for properties located in areas considered to be environmentally sensitive prior to any land disturbances. This methodology will continue to ensure that the environmental integrity of sensitive areas is maintained. And then the final thing I just want to bring your attention to is with respect to farm worker housing policies. The housing challenge facing all communities throughout the region is of significant concern. The ongoing struggle for seasonal workers to find housing continues to increase. Area A of the RDOS is a home to many commercial farms and an extensive viticulture industry. As such, it would be appropriate to include policies relative to addressing the housing challenge within the Area A OCP. So there is nothing in their OCP with respect to that issue. So again, implications to our community on this referral. Electoral Area A residents and town residents will benefit as both jurisdictions will have new cohesive OCPs in 2021. Organizationally, Council's comments will be forwarded to the RDOS. There are no impacts to the town's budget associated with this report. Submissions to the RDOS were required actually by December 4th, but they gave us an extension. Sustainability, regional sustainability will address through both Area A OCP and the town's new OCP. So when you get these referrals, and we've spoken about this before, there's 4 options, and we get to tick one of the boxes. And the options are as follows: approval recommended for the reasons outlined, interest unaffected, approval recommended subject to conditions, or approval not recommended due to reasons outlined. And so what I'm speaking to you about here today is that I recommend the following: that approval is recommended subject to the following conditions. That the RDOS give further consideration to amending the draft Area A OCP ESDP guidelines such that they would apply to all environmentally sensitive areas within Area A, with a caveat regarding exemptions where land is being altered to adhere to fire smart practices. In my opinion, that would achieve what they're looking for without taking away from what we all want to see, which is protection of environmentally sensitive areas. And 2, that the RDOS give consideration to amending the draft area OCP to include policies regarding seasonal workers as it relates to the demands of the agricultural industry. Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. And
Thank you very
Council.
much. I appreciate the fact that you, because I've been listening to this at the RDOS, so has CJ, and we have heard a lot about this, but it's usually a rural vote, so we don't get, municipalities don't get a vote on it, but we're certainly interested in how, so I think those 2 things that you've mentioned are absolutely worth them considering. Councillor
Thank
King?
you, Madam Mayor. Well, thanks very much for all the input you definitely put into this presentation. I guess my question was, we recommend these 2 things. When do we find out, or how does the process go that they accept or turn them down?
Well, thank you, Councillor King. So as you know, myself and the other planning directors throughout the Okanagan, throughout the RDOS region, we speak on a regular basis, and they already know what what I'm speaking to you today about, so it won't come as a surprise. Basically, what will happen is they'll take it into consideration, and I would suspect that our comments, along with any other comments received through other municipal jurisdictions or through the general public, will be forwarded on to the board through the planning department. And then we'll see where that goes.
So did it come out to start with from the RDOS as presented to all you people that meet, that they wanted to make some changes?
No, they've done a draft Area A OCP, and so they've referred it to us as part of their referral process, and then I waded through it, and that's sort of the...
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. This might be an odd question, but I was a little concerned about some of the opening comments about the changes and private individuals not being able to apply anymore. Does that in any way affect our Meadowlark?
That's a very
planning
good
that-
question.
Yeah,
It's a very good
concerns me a
question.
little, yeah.
So with respect to the Meadowlark Area Plan, we already have an agreement in place that's subject to addressing certain concerns of the Agricultural Commission, that they would then release the lands on an as-needed basis. So we did just receive a letter from the Agricultural Land Commission planner on Friday, basically agreeing to release the Meadowlark Phase 2, subject to certain conditions, and there was one additional thing in there that is going to make some minor changes to our lot layout, but there isn't anything we didn't anticipate. So it won't really affect us with respect to that project or with Phase 3, but what would happen is if somebody approached us and said that they're interested in removing their land from the Agricultural Land Reserve, we would then convene ourselves and decide whether or not it was in the best interest. But what I anticipate happening is when we look at our draft official community plan, we will discuss any areas that the planning department may be recommending that we designate other than agriculture in the new OCP, and then when that gets forwarded to the commission, they will tell us what they think of that idea, and then we have a choice to either leave it in there as other than agriculture, and then at the time at which we feel we need that for some other use, we would then present our case to the commission. So it is a little bit different. It doesn't affect us as much as it does geographically larger areas like the RDOS, because we don't have that many parcels in the town that are agriculture that we would consider wanting to use for other uses. But we'll speak more about that in 2 weeks.
So it's usually just the rural areas that.
Predominantly, yeah.
worry about. Okay, are there any other questions or concerns about this? So is there someone you're asking? Yes, is there someone willing to make a motion about this? Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Member Kordoff. So do you want 2 or 1 or?
No,
Can
it can be
go
together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll make a motion based on staff recommended options.
Okay, is there a seconder? Councillor Bennett, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor? Thank you very much,
And
Ms.
thank you,
McKay.
Mayor and Council.
Next is the Okanagan Regional Library Disposition of Lands. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The lease with the Okanagan Regional Library expires on December 31st of 2020. In 2017, the lease was extended for an additional 3-year term. Staff is bringing forward an intent to lease for Council's consideration. The library has been located at the Sonora Community Center since 2007, and it has been a great fit in our building. The subject property is legally described as portion of Lot A and commonly referred to as 8505 68th Avenue. As part of the lease process, the Okanagan Regional Library hired an independent assessor, and the assessed rate was determined to be $7 a square foot. However, the library is recommending that the lease rate remain status quo at $9.40 a square foot, plus an additional rate of $6 a square foot for the cost of utilities, maintenance, and janitorial services. The total cost of the library is set at $15.40 a square foot, based on 3,380 square feet, which equals $52,052 annually. The library is seeking a term of 3 years starting in January of 2021 until the end of December 2023. There are no proposed changes as both entities are pleased with the current agreement. If Council approves the intent to lease, staff will place an ad for the disposition of lands in the local paper and at the public notice posting place for 2 consecutive weeks. Staff will then bring another report back to Council to approve the lease following the posting. In terms of implications for the community, having the library located in Osoyoos at the Sonora Community Center makes it very convenient for the community. The budget, an annual revenue of $52,052 for the 3-year term starting in 2021. Significant dates, the current agreement expires December 31st of this year. If the intent to lease is approved, staff can bring back the lease on December 21st for approval. And in terms of sustainability, retaining the Okanagan Regional Library Services in a Soyuz. The options before council, option 1, for council to approve the notice of intention to lease the property as indicated on the attached map for the purpose of a library. For council to direct staff to make changes to the draft lease and bring back at a later time. And the third option for council not to approve the intent to lease at this time. And staff's recommendation is option number 1. The Okanagan Regional Library occupies prime space in the Sonora Community Center, and it has been beneficial to the center as well as the library, and that many users have these services in the same building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. I thought it was interesting, the report that was put in by the company hired to do this from Kelowna, and they've got quite a few areas in Osoyoos that they actually looked at. Presumably, these were similar to the last ones that they did.
Yes, that's correct.
And obviously, the Sonora Center was considered the best fit. Yeah. Okay, anybody, Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Member Kordoff. When you were doing that evaluation, do we have any indication of what those costs were?
No.
You don't, eh?
For the evaluation itself?
Yeah.
No. That's something that the Okanagan Regional Library does. From my understanding, they do 3-year terms provincially, and as part of that, that's what's in their bylaws or whatever to actually do the actual lease.
Are we confident that the $15.40 per square foot is reasonably competitive with the marketplace?
Oh, absolutely.
It is, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Councillor Harvey is the councillor assigned to the library. I'm just wondering if you had any comments or anything on this report, Councillor Harvey.
Oops, sorry.
I just wondered if there were any.
No, I was just making sure I was off mute. No, not in particular. I understand from our librarian staff that they're quite pleased with the arrangement as well. I know the president of the OR is interested at some point in talking about relocation, but he would like to see us back on Main Street, or see the library back on Main Street. But Georgina is, loves it where it is, close to the school and whatnot. So.
Good.
But that's all.
So, yeah, I thought you would probably be in favor of this. Looking at Main Street, which we did about 5 years ago, I think, they looked at a bunch of places there, and a lot of them would have parking a fair distance away, and yeah, it just didn't seem like this just seemed like the best fit for sure. So, thank you very much. So is there anybody willing to make
I'll move option 1.
Thank you very much. Option 1 is that we approve the notice as set out. Yeah. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Bennett. Oh, sorry, did Councillor Harvey had something?
Oh,
Are you-
yes.
No?
No, I was just seconding. But that's
Oh,
fine.
okay, we got it. So, and no other questions, I will ask for the vote on this. All in favor? Thank you very much. That's carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
And next is the, Mrs. Hilson. Standing committees, committee of the whole, et cetera.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Section 127 of the Community Charter requires that a schedule of the date, time, and place of all regular meetings to be held during the year be prepared and made available to the public at least once a year. In addition, notice of the availability of the schedule must be published annually according to Section 94 of the Community Charter. The notice must be posted on the public notice board at Town Hall and published for 2 consecutive weeks in the Times Chronicle. Council adopted Council Procedure Bylaw number 1367 at the special open meeting on November 25th. This changed council meeting dates to the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. Typically in the past, council would cancel the first meeting in January due to the office being closed over Christmas holidays. However, due to the change, the first meeting in 2021 would be Tuesday, January 12th, and staff do not feel that it is necessary to cancel the meeting. Staff have prepared a 2021 council meeting calendar for council meetings and conventions. SILGA is being held in Vernon from April 27th to 30th. FCM is being held in Montreal June 3rd to 6th, and UBCM is being held from September 13th to 17th in Vancouver. If SILGA and UBCM are not canceled due to COVID, council may wish to cancel the April 27th and September 14th council meetings so that they can attend. Historically, council has also canceled one meeting in August. If council chooses, they can reduce the number of meetings in July and August, and if there are any urgent matters, a special open meeting of council can be held. If council chooses to cancel a meeting in the summer months, staff would recommend that the August 10th meeting be canceled so that there is not a long period of time without a regularly scheduled meeting. Staff are recommending canceling the last meeting in December, which would fall on December 28th, as typically town office closes between Christmas and New Year's. A schedule for the 2021 meeting dates for the regular committee of the whole and committees has been compiled for consideration by council. If a meeting needs to be amended, the corporate officer and/or the mayor can sign a notice of special meeting and post on the public notice board at Town Hall as per Council's Procedure Bylaw number 1367 and the Community Charter. If a special meeting is called and in accordance with Section 127, there must be at least 24 hours notice given by posting a copy of the notice at the regular council meeting place and posting a copy of the notice at the public notice posting place, and leaving one copy for each council member at the place where the member has directed notices to be sent. At a special meeting, only items included in the notice may be discussed. Additional or late items cannot be added to a special meeting agenda during the meeting. Due to COVID, public has been excluded from attending open council and committee meetings. Pandemic protocols may require that in 2021 that this is also in effect. The town of Osoyoos streams the committee of the whole, special, open, and regular meetings on their website. The regular open meetings are also available on Eastlink's community channel. In the event of a public hearing, council will utilize the Sonora Community Center to ensure that the public can continue to be heard in matters affecting them. The town of Osoyoos is committed to providing open, transparent, accessible, and accountable government to the Osoyoos residents. Implications to the community: its clear schedule on council meeting dates, significant dates before December 31st as notice is required, and sustainability: regularly scheduled meetings and providing notices as required under the community charter. And options before council: that council approves the notice of regular committee of the whole and select standing committee meetings for 2021. That council amends the schedule of regular committee of the whole, select standing committee dates for 2021 by reducing the number of meetings in July and August. And recommendation: staff is requesting that council provide direction on which option they would like for the 2021 calendar year.
Thank you very much. I had one question, and it was about the April the 27th meeting. If that would be when SILGA is being held, at a time when we decide whether we're going to SILGA or not, can we then adjust that meeting or cancel it? Or
Yes.
we
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it now?
No,
because-
you wouldn't have to worry about the April 27th, and I believe it also affected the UBCM date as well. So if council is going to attend UBCM, so you could cancel those meetings closer to the date if they're not canceled due to COVID.
Right, thank you. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
thank you,
Councillor
Madam Mayor. I
King.
have a question. If this gets accepted, we moved it to Tuesday and Thursday. I have a concern about the Community Service Advisory Committee recommending to meet on a Tuesday, on the fourth Tuesday, which would kind of be in a conflict.
Okay, I can get the director, Davis, to change the
I know we're
date.
pretty flexible, but here it's,
Yeah.
it would definitely be a conflict.
Yeah,
That's a
there's
good
few
point.
things that we may have to make sure that there's no conflicts on other meetings. Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Member Kordoff. I'd like to change from the first week in January to the one before Christmas. But I'm a little concerned about the first one in August. It's been something that we've enjoyed for quite a few years. And, you know, it is a nice break during a time of year where, you know, people can enjoy their families and the outdoor activities and all that kind of stuff going on. And this kind of takes away that day that we've enjoyed for so many years and that kind of thing. And I would be supportive of continuing on with that.
Okay, so that would be option 2, and
Yeah.
then we would cancel the August 10th. That would be my recommendation,
Yeah.
so that you wouldn't have, because if you cancel the 14th of September for UBCM, if that does happen, then that means you wouldn't have met
Right.
for a longer period. So if you canceled the August 10th, which we would typically cancel, and then you would meet again on August 24th.
Okay, the second part, and I know we had briefly discussed this in the past about moving that day in August to the first one in July.
So would you prefer canceling the August 13th meeting?
The July.
Or, pardon me, the July 13th meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd rather keep the two meetings, the two in August, and just have one in July? Oh, okay.
That way it doesn't interfere with anything.
The only trouble is the meeting in June is on the 22nd, and then we would not meet until the 27th of July, which is 5 weeks. Yeah, that's a fair distance, a fair amount of time. Does that, maybe it doesn't matter.
We could still call a special meeting
Yes.
if we have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me, council agendas are heavy during the rest of the year. During the summer, they're kind of toned down a little bit because everybody is focusing on our main industry in our community and that kind of thing. And originally, I had, prior to the Tuesday, change to Tuesday, there was a little bit of selfish thing because lots of people volunteer in Canada Day. Sometimes those meetings were
The next day.
the next day. Seemed like it was happening quite a bit. It's a little bit of a challenge when you're, like our mayor, moving chairs off the lawn at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, I mean, it,
Yeah. Well, that won't happen again
Job
because,
description.
but I'm fine with either one. So, you know, you guys, what would you prefer here? Either it's option 1 or option 2.
I could see option 2, it's really deciding whether it's July or August.
well, I'll put out a motion that it be option 2, changing to July, the first meeting in July,
Be canceled.
be canceled, yes.
Is there somebody who would like to second
Yeah,
that?
second.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that has concerns about it? Or any questions? Okay, so I will ask, all in favor of the motion? You in favor?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted, where does the Community Service Advisory Committee fit into the motion? Or you'll just do that sidebar?
We'll just talk to the Director of Community Services, and we could adjust the schedule with the date that he,
Is there any reason that it couldn't be the third Tuesday?
yeah, I was kind of
Yeah,
thinking
that's
that.
fine. Yeah. Just whatever works for him and how busy his schedule is.
So, yeah, so I'll suggest
It's been months.
to the Director of Community Services to move that to the third Tuesday so it doesn't,
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
that was good.
So there's nothing else on that one then? We're all good? Thank
Did
you very much.
I didn't see the vote, sorry.
Oh, it was
All in favor? Okay,
unanimous.
perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So now we're on to acting mayor appointments for 2021.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hilson, or is
Count-
it you or Mr. Chabot?
It's me again.
Okay.
Council adopted the council procedure bylaw at the special open meeting of November 25th. The council procedure bylaw and the community charter require council to appoint a member to act in place of the mayor when the mayor is absent or otherwise unable to act, or when the office of the mayor is vacant. The council procedure bylaw states that annually in December, council must, from amongst its members, designate the councillors on a rotating basis as the members acting in place of the mayor. The acting mayor appointments must be made by a council resolution. The recommended 2021 schedule is included in the options for council's consideration. The council procedure bylaw provides for circumstances where both the mayor and acting mayor are unavailable. Council will choose a member to preside over the council meeting. However, if a councillor is unable to take on the role of the acting mayor for their scheduled month, they need to inform the corporate officer, who will then bring a recommendation to council for their consideration of appointing another councillor in their absence. So implications to the community: leadership provided in the absence of the mayor. Significant dates: acting mayor must be appointed by December 31st for the coming year. Sustainability, continuation, and leadership. And so the following acting mayor appointments for 2021 would be in January, Councillor Harvey; February, Councillor Bennett; March, Councillor King; April, Councillor Rhodes; May, Councillor Harvey; June, Councillor Bennett; July, Councillor King; August, Councillor Rhodes; September, Councillor Harvey; October, Councillor Bennett; November, Councillor King; December, Councillor Rhodes. And option 2, that the acting mayor appointments for 2021 be as follows, and council can make any changes for the month that they wish. And recommendation, staff is recommending option number 1.
Thank you very much. Anybody have, go ahead, Councillor Rhodes.
I'll move the staff recommended option number 1.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett is seconding that. Any concerns? Okay, all in favor? Mrs. Hilson, that was carried. I find it interesting that the way that Osoyoos does this, taking a month at a time. There are other fairly small towns that do 3 months at a time. One, I think, does a year at a time. You're it for the entire year, and then the next year it's somebody else. So this has always worked for here, I'm assuming. Nobody's ever suggested that it be adjusted or changed? Okay, works, then we keep it. Thank you. Next is the Okanagan Regional Library Board appointment. That's you again, Mrs. Hilson.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Council must appoint a representative to the library trustee and an alternate to the Okanagan Regional Library Board for each year for a 1-year term. The annual appointments to the library board are made according to the BC Library Act. The board meets regularly 4 times a year, and when the board deems it necessary to have additional meetings. Typically, the regular meetings are held on the 3rd Wednesday in February, May, September, and November of each year, except when a municipal election is held. In an election year, they meet in October and cancel the November meeting. The meetings are held at the library headquarters in Kelowna, and the library pays all members' expenses. Currently, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all meetings have been held virtually. The ORL board requires representation from the town of Osoyoos. Council appoints an alternate if the representative is unable to attend. Staff has spoken with Councillor Harvey, who has been the representative for the past 2 years and has stated he would like to continue as their council representative. Councillor Bennett, who's been appointed the alternate, has agreed to stay on as the alternate. Implications to the community: the town of Osoyoos taxpayers has a voice at the ORL board. And sustainability: the town of Osoyoos Council has a voice on decisions that it could affect the residents of Osoyoos. Options: that Councillor Harvey be appointed to the Okanagan Regional Library Board with Councillor Bennett as their alternate, or 2, that mayor or councillor, whoever council would like to appoint to the Okanagan Regional Library Board with mayor or councillor as their alternate. And staff are recommending that council appoint one of its members to serve as the town's appointee to the Okanagan Regional Library Board, and that would be Councillor Harvey, and Councillor Bennett to serve as the alternate.
Thank you very much. So, sounds good to me. Somebody like to make
I'll
that?
move that
Counselor
motion.
King, you're gonna, Counselor Rhodes is gonna second that. All in favor? Thank you, Counselor Harvey and Counselor Bennett. So next we have the general net payroll and Sunbowl Arena.
No, we have the late item, the SCBA.
I apologize.
That's
What have I
okay.
done?
So I believe CAO Chabot is going to read the
Oh,
report.
the other, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Your
I
Worship,
forgot.
this is a report from the Fire Department,
Right,
late
of
submission
course.
today. Council will recall a couple of meetings ago approving early budget approval for 2021 expenditure to add to the budgeted amount for 2020 to replace the self-contained breathing apparatus. And it was believed that a bulk purchase might produce better pricing. Pleased to see that prices came well within budget. And I guess with COVID, the delivery times for some items, particularly personal protective equipment, emergency safety equipment, has been somewhat delayed. So we wanted to get this ordered sooner. So staff is requesting that council authorize the entering into of a contract with Rocky Mountain Phoenix, Inc. for the supply and delivery of self-contained breathing apparatus as a successful proponent from RFP number 2020-009 in the amount of $185,078 plus GST. Rocky Mountain Phoenix was the highest rated submission as per the RFP evaluation criteria and the lowest price when considering a 15-year life cycle cost of ownership from 4 submissions that were received. The published criteria to evaluate these were: 1, price, suitability of the equipment specifications, warranty, and delivery date. The following quantities were requested: 22 full SCBA with 45-minute and 4,500 PSI cylinders, and 22 spare cylinders, and 2 rapid intervention packs with 60-minute, 4,500 PSI cylinders. 2020 pre-budget approval that council authorized allows us to order and replace it all at once. Purchase is in line with the 5-year financial plan, and it's under the 2020 and 2021 combined budgeted amounts. Total budget for this project was $215,000. Staff is recommending that council award a contract to Rocky Mountain Phoenix for the amount of $185,078 plus GST for the SCBA, and that staff be authorized to enter a contract for the supply.
Thank you. Is there somebody like to go ahead, Counselor Bennett?
I think the Phoenix has been here for a long time. They're in fire equipment, so it's a long-established company.
Good. So you're moving the option. Are you seconding that, Counselor Rhodes? Are there any questions or, oh, go ahead, Counselor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Our budget figure of $215,000, did that include GST?
I don't know if it did, but we get the GST back. We get 100% of it back later.
Yeah.
We have to pay it on the purchase, and then we apply for it to be refunded. And you might have noted that there's no PST mentioned. PST is not applicable to safety equipment.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a balance between what we're paying and what our budget was with the difference.
So paying 185 net, and our budget was 215.
Saving 30 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there's a few, perhaps
But if
some racks and things, some miscellaneous bits and pieces that will be ordered additional to make sure that we can accommodate the new SCBA on our equipment.
Yeah, I realize that we saved money on it, but if the 215 included GST, it would reduce that by
Yeah.
a considerable amount, $10,000 or better.
Yeah, and I'd have to review the budget report
Okay.
to give you a proper answer, I'd be guessing.
I'm just wondering if you knew or not.
No, but if the 215 was inclusive of GST, you'd pull 10 and change off of that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Did we take a vote on that?
No.
We did?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's been moved and seconded, though?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so all in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, and now we have, where are we? General net payroll and Sunbowl Arena financial accounts. And as of December the 7th, general cash requirements are $2,586,086.22. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $11,494.14, and net payroll accounts of $86,309.98. And the first two would be adopted by consensus, and the payroll accounts would be received for information. And so next is the building report, and there, it doesn't look like we've got any new houses being built as we speak, but there are some new shop storage and, an in-ground swimming pool.
New manufactured home. Bridget,
Yes, but did you notice the price on that one?
it's money.
So, yeah. And a converted garage, an addition. So it sounds like people who are staying home are doing a little fixing up with their homes and their offices and garages. So total for the month was $462,000, and total to date is $7,952,457, which is really less than half of the 2019, which was $16,900,000. So that's quite a difference this year. We need a motion to accept the building report. Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. And next we have we've got the age-friendly, accessibility and age-friendly committee report, and I see that Councillor King was there. Is there, actually, this one was back in, October. Okay, there was another one, so there was minutes of one in July too. Anything that you need to add to this report?
Not
or-
really, it's
yeah.
pretty self-explanatory, other than there's going to be a news out requesting for new committee members, which I think is exciting because we've had some people interested to sit on the committee.
Okay, good. So when would your next meeting be for this?
I just looked at it.
Oh, says
Third
November
Third
the,
Tuesday. of
Third
each month.
Tuesday.
November the 17th is when the next meeting is, according to this. Which, did
We
you have it
it.
last month?
Yeah,
Okay,
through a Zoom meeting, we did have that.
okay. And so then you will have another one
Yeah.
in January, I presume. And you were also, Councillor King, at the Community Services Advisory Committee. Is there anything that you need to report on that one? That one was on
November 12th.
December. Okay,
I think
November
I'd
12th.
given an update at last council meeting. I guess what was kind
That's
of
right.
exciting to see, though, was the pickleball committee that put a professional presentation together, and it's my understanding that Mr. Davis will be putting something together or bring it forward in the near future.
Good. Okay. Can we adopt, we have to do those separately, right? So we need to have a motion to accept the Accessibility and Age-Friendly Committee meeting minutes of October the 22nd. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor? And we need a motion, please, to accept the Community Services Advisory Committee meeting minutes of November the 12th. Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you. And next, we have the CAO report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few items to note. I think most significantly is we're pleased to announce that we've reached agreement on a renewed collective agreement with our QP Local 608. The agreement is for a 4-year term commencing January the 1st this year, running until December 31st, 2024. We've prepared a media release that'll go out later this afternoon, provide some of the details, but in general terms, there is a retroactive wage increase back to January 1st of this year of 2%, and then the agreement provides a general wage increase of 2% on January 1st in each of the next 3 years of the remaining term. The agreement also includes some language improvements, some clarification of some timelines, and some benefit provision increases. Those include an increase to the percentage of group life and AD&D paid by the employer, an increase from 80 to 100%, a removal of a $50 annual deductible for extended health plan for each of our employees that make use of that. We've added orthotic shoes and inserts for adults as insured benefits, and we've increased the boot allowance by $50. In comparison to total wage costs for 2009 compared to 2019 and 2020 with the general wage increase and the benefit increases, because the benefits are only effective as of the date of ratification, the only thing that's retroactive is a general wage increase. Our total year-over-year increased costs of labor for our QP employees is 1.9%, slightly less than the general wage increase provided, and that's in part because we hired less seasonal employees this year due to COVID-19. There was some employees laid off for a period of time in the spring when we first closed down a number of our facilities, and we've had some staff vacancies. In terms of increased costs for 2021, the agreement with the general wage increase and the benefit improvements, it's expected to increase the cost of labor about 2.35% in total. And so there may be questions from media or from staff. We'll certainly do our best to answer them, but that's, in a nutshell, that's the arrangements that we reached, so.
Are we up to full staff now in all departments?
No, we're down at least one in the Planning and Development Department. Ms. Cassoni, the planner, had tendered a resignation. We don't plan to replace her imminently. We are reviewing resumes right now for the position of fire chief. And we're down a corporate officer, and we'll look at filling that position in the spring.
Thank you.
That was going to be my next item. I was going to say we got 33 applications for the fire chief position. Staff are busily reviewing them. Looks like I'm being in the holdup right now, trying to get to them. In other departments, community services, you know, the provincial health officer and the minister of health continue to make amendments to provincial orders to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been a challenging time to keep track of those changes, to keep the community and users and user groups informed of the changes in the accessibility and access to recreation in our community that we're trying to keep open. But as of very recently, all adult fitness classes have been canceled, indoor and outdoor. Minor hockey, figure skating, and junior hockey is in phase 2 of a COVID plan, and will be allowed to use the facility under the recommended guidelines, but there's no inter-community travel and no games, so they can practice. Pickleball tennis is down now to singles play only, hopefully from the same family group. We've signed our facilities, and it's not available inside the Sonora Center right now, but the outdoor courts still playable, and here it is, December. The weight room is still open. People need to make an appointment to visit the facility, fill out a COVID screening form, wear a mask when they're moving about the facility, but you don't have to wear a mask when you're actually going about your workout. Corporate services has been busy with helping with all things HR, applications and resumes and answering questions and posting notices and writing letters awarding positions to new employees. We had a new water wastewater operator start with us on November the 30th. They've been working through additional grant funding for victim services, I believe, a small lift from the province.
Yes.
Is that right? Financial services, we're going to see more of what he's been doing on Wednesday when we look at the landfill, the sewer, and the water budgets. Probably take the better part of the day, but we'll hope to get through those things, and then they're preparing for an interim audit for our auditors to come. Fire department has had some ongoing training of the paid on-call volunteers, those pursuing NFPA 1001 certification and ultimately an interior certification as well. Number of the members participated in Movember. They raised $1,590 to support men's health initiatives. And they did a COVID-safe community food drive on December the 2nd, raising $2,616 and collected 2 pickup truckloads of food for the food bank. We did have some folks express some concern about the members going up to households given COVID-19. They were well rehearsed, well practiced in safety protocols, in physical distancing. They went through about a month's worth of hand sanitizer. I think it was important this year to get those donations. They were out a little bit later than they'd wished, but I don't know that the department typically does a community food drive of this type. And so, in future years, in more normal times, you might try to engage a large contingent of community volunteers and get through the community a little bit sooner so we're not pounding on people's doors just before 9 p.m. But anyways, it was a big success and good for them. Planning and development still remains really busy. The amount of real estate sales in Osoyoos, it's hitting record levels right now. And those generate a number of inquiries every day on development potential, zoning, building permit information, people looking for comfort letters and the like. So that's keeping them busy. Bylaw has been getting more complaints about people living in motorhomes or RVs, different parts of town, in their cars. This is a phenomenon across British Columbia, if not Canada, and we're certainly seeing it here. This is an easier place to try to winter in an RV than most other places in the province, so shouldn't be a surprise, but you're not allowed to live in your RV on a city street or a public parking lot or your neighbor's driveway or your own driveway, so we'll continue to look at that. You mentioned building permits. There's a good amount that have been processed that are ready for pickup that would increase the values if all of the permits that have been worked through and some that are waiting for some documentation were issued this month. We'd probably exceed last year's values. But our expectation is people will probably wait and pull those permits sometime in the new year as opposed to just as we're heading into the holiday season. Operational services, you might have noticed the Christmas lights up around town. Unfortunately, didn't get to have a light up parade or a Christmas parade, but town looks great and there's some things being organized to have people be able to view and enjoy seasonal displays around the community. They're busy working on looking at sight lines and roadside and trail brush, which is a good time of year to be looking at that. You don't go and tell people to be pruning back their hedges and such in the middle of summer here, so go do an analysis now and come up with some plans to address those things. Contract 2 for the South Water Extension, the tender was released. It closes on December 15th. An RFP for the Main Street sidewalk design on the west side of the road across from the Watermark down to Kingfisher is just being drafted. And a new trailer to haul the new beach cleaner back and forth to community beaches arrived, I think, sometime last week. And I think it came in at about 30% of what we had got budget approval for. We'd asked for 50,000. I think it was less than 20.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
We like to hear those. So, thank you very much, Mr. Chabot. Could we have a motion, please, to accept the CAO report? Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you. So, council reports. Councillor Rhodes.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Councillor King.
I'm going to pass also.
Councillor Bennett.
Unfortunately, I have a couple here. November 18th, School District 53, Rob Zandi was re-elected chair, and our own town employee Casey Brower is a vice chair for School District 53, so congratulations to him. November 24th, we had the Destination Soyuz AGM, and you'll be getting a report on that, and we have a couple new directors, Shelley Sharp from Atira Wines and Mike Green from Tumbleweed. We also have the new manager from Walnut Beach, and unfortunately I don't have the paper with his name on it, but I'll bring that up. And November 26th, we had our MIBC board meeting, and basically that goes all day. And the big thing there is, and Al will know this, they're putting away for each community $250,000 defense costs, because if somebody comes and tries to sue the town of Osoyoos for transmission of COVID, they're not allowed to do it by law, but if they did, there could be some court costs. So this money is for each community to have that money put away. So it's only, all the other liability carriers are not offering that to communities, so it's a pretty big thing for communities to have that. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. And I'm assuming that there is Wednesday, you won't be able to attend the meeting because we have budget meetings, right? The school board meeting?
Well, by the time we're done, it's
Okay.
at 4 o'clock,
Okay,
and
well,
it's online.
oh, all right, so you could actually do it. Thank you. Counselor Harvey?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I also attended the DO AGM. Found that interesting. But most significant was the November Regional Library Board meeting. And the key item there was approval of the budget for next year. And I spoke about this at an earlier meeting. It's a 0.75% increase year over year for next year's budget.
Okay.
So quite small, quite modest.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I've seemed to be on quite a few Zoom meetings, but because most of the ones, the Water Board and CIDIT, which Southern Interior Development Initiative Trust, I'm on one tomorrow for the Okanagan, the International Osoyoos Lake Board of Control. So, and RDOS meetings are also, you know, quite a few of them. They've been online too, which is easier because I haven't been putting any miles on my car or wearing out my tires. So that's for sure. I just want to say thank you to Smitty's and the Kiwanis, you know, and the Festival Society, our elf, Annette, and our Frosty, Ken, for putting on a wonderful, safe breakfast the other day. There were lots of toys that were collected inside there that the Kiwanis use for Christmas, and you know, they just did a great job of handling it very safely and very well. So thank you to everybody. Also, Santa and Mrs. Claus, with their masks on, made a couple of appearances in there, so that was very much appreciated as well. You should likely listen to some things on the radio that are coming up. There will be some interviews with Brock on the radio and with Santa. We're not exactly sure when that will be, but we can certainly, when that's going to be on, we will make sure that that's people are notified in our e-news. I'm so impressed with the number of things that are going on in this town. The lights that our operational services put up look terrific. Lots and lots of people have had Christmas lights of all kinds up early this year because they wanted to get involved and get something done. And I need to tell you that there are teams of Osoyoos Festival Society people going around this week to judge the houses. I've provided them with lists where they have to write down the address of businesses and homes, condos, developments, that type of thing. We are not going to climb the hill up to Councillor Bennett's home because I'm not having them all run up there. However, we do appreciate it when people that are not that visible from the road get into the Christmas spirit. So I think it's terrific. They have to have those sheets in to me by the 12th. And then we'll look through, and we have wonderful prizes. $50 gift certificates from Home Hardware and from Home Building to the best decorated home. So well done, everybody. And I I want to make sure that people realize that there are so many businesses in this town that are going above and beyond to help people with their shopping and with their Christmas shopping. And I say, if, you know, you're not going to be traveling too far, so please shop locally. Many businesses will allow you to phone in, put an order, pick it up at the door. Some, you know, the grocery stores, some of the other businesses in town. You know, people are really, really trying to think a little differently this year, and we certainly hope that that is going to be successful for a lot of our businesses in town. So well done, everybody. And I also have to say that we have over at Junction 3, the coffee shop on Motel Row. They have those little igloos there. And when I was at home at lunch, I was just having a look on the Vancouver News, and they were so impressed because someplace down in the States had these igloos. And I thought, boy, have they missed the boat. I mean, we have them here too, and they're terrific. And you can go in your bubble and have coffee inside if it's a cold day. And I believe Santa is in there a few times. He was there last week, and he's going to be this week too for a few days. So if anybody wants to go down and have their picture taken with Santa, he's inside, you're outside, of the way it looks to me in the pictures. And kids can do it. I would think adults could do it as well if they wanted to. So Santa is in there, and you know, great things are happening in this town, and we really appreciate the kindness that people have shown, the fabulous ideas that they have come up with to make this a fun December, and just enjoy the season, even though we can't visit as much as we want to. So that was all that I had for today, and we will be back in 2 weeks on December the 21st for our next meeting.
Wednesday.
Oh,
We'll
yes,
be back on Wednesday.
Wednesday, of course, that's our budget meeting, but our regular council meeting is the 21st. So, but that's true, we have more meetings this month, for sure. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, Councillor Harvey, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. See you Wednesday.
Okay.
Where's the motion?